Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we're doing text 9 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Evam Niruktam Kshiti Shabda Vrittam.
Evam Niruktam Kshiti Shabda Vrittam.
Asannidhanat Paramanavoye.
Asannidhanat Paramanavoye.
Avidyaya Manasa Kalpitaste.
Avidyaya Manasa Kalpitaste.
Yesham Samuhena Krito Vishesha. Yes. Would someone like to read?
Very good.
Yes, please.
Translation. One may say that varieties arise from the planet Earth itself. However, although the universe may temporarily appear to be the truth, it ultimately has no real existence. The Earth was originally created by a combination of atomic particles, but these particles are impermanent. Actually, the atom is not the cause of the universe, although some philosophers think so. It is not a fact that the varieties found in this material world simply result from atomic juxtaposition or combination. Purport. Those who follow the atomic theory think that the protons and electrons of atoms combine in such a way as to bring all material existence into being. However, the scientists fail to discover the cause of atomic existence itself. Under these circumstances, we cannot accept that the atom is the cause of the universe. Such theories are advanced by unintelligent people. According to real intelligence, the real cause of the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Lord, Janmadhyasyata. He is the original cause of all creation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarvam Pravardhate. Krishna is the original cause, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Krishna is the cause of atoms, the material energy. Bhumirapo Analo Vayus, Ham Mano Buddhirevacha, Ahankara iti yamme binna prakritirishpadha. The ultimate cause is the Supreme Personality of God, and only those in ignorance try to find out other causes by posing different theories. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yeah. So, see, one may say that varieties arise from planet Earth itself. However, although the universe may temporarily appear to be truth, it ultimately has no existence. See, even devotees today are very convinced about the modern scientific theories. And it's not wrong to blame them, because devotees are also coming from Shudra stock, actually. It's not that devotees are coming from very advanced families. They're coming from Shudra families, so their sanskaras are also Shudra. And the modern day science and technology is nothing but Shilpakala. It is Shudra science. This is not the first time in the history of the universe that this kind of science and technology has been propagated. It has always been there. Ravana was also like this. So essentially, and it's very easy to understand also, if you see Shudras are only concerned with the topics related to body and mind, nothing beyond that. Like a Shudra is happy to have some good food, good sex, and that's it. Shudra doesn't want much more. Today, the whole society is like that. So this modern science and technology is only dedicated to the body, and it's just dedicated to the body, actually, body and mind. Just some entertainment and some enjoyment, and that's it. That's what whole science and technology is. So therefore, devotees also find it convincing, because it does explain. Modern science is not like bunkum. It's not like complete nonsense. It has some explanations. For example, if you see the theory of the theory of molecules and atoms, see the quantum mechanics. So one may think, to a non-scientist, quantum mechanics may appear to be like so much mumbo jumbo, but it has practical application. The theory of tunneling is actually utilized in manufacturing of diodes and triodes and transistors, which leads to the manufacturing of your electronic equipment. quantum mechanics, the theory of time dilation, and other things are used for satellite communication. Time dilation is actually used for satellite communication. Actually, you are hearing my voice because we have factored time dilation. Therefore, you are hearing my signal. I mean, like I'm generating signal in my computer. You are receiving it 4,500 kilometers away, and the Earth is rotating. So this time dilation is accounted for, and that's how we are having communication, which is synchronous. Otherwise, it will become asynchronous. Sound will break. You will not hear anything from me. So these theories are practical. They do work. But why they are considered, why Srila Prabhupada is saying this theory is wrong, because it is not an end-all, be-all theory. This theory does not explain the cause of all causes. Modern scientists talk about Big Bang theory. They talk about creation. What is that? Point energy. All that is just speculation. Complete nonsense. What is the proof for Big Bang? Because all the galaxies are moving away. Well, we haven't seen all the galaxies. All these so-called astronomy is just speculation, mathematical models. In reality, we don't know what is there. We have just been up to Mars and some few planets. But we don't really know what is existing in other galaxies. What are different kinds of energies? What are different kinds of bodies? Okay, forget about that. That is still observable universe. Science has no explanation for life. Actually, if you see the theory of information, which talks about the total information content, the theory of information, actually, it's a mathematical theory which itself explains that a dead body is different from a living body. So mathematically also it is understood that there is a life force which we do not understand. So technically we can say that even modern science agrees that there is a limit beyond which they have no understanding. And yet the scientists will dogmatically propagate the atheistic philosophies. Life comes from body, life comes from chemicals, we can just do this. No one can do anything. A scientist, like if you see an egg, for example, it's a very simple protein. Take a simple egg that you get in your market for 5 rupees, 6 rupees. That egg is a very simple protein with a coating of calcium compounds. Why can't anyone recreate it? There is no engineering facility in the world which can recreate an egg. Simple combination of nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, sugars and proteins. Simple calcium oxide covering. Why can't we just recreate it? Because we don't know how it has come about. That's why we're not able to recreate it. And yet the scientists claim that they know everything. So therefore, this modern science is nonsense. It's Shudra science. Like a Shudra has no knowledge of Brahma. Only Brahmana knows this. So likewise, modern scientists know the phenomenal world. They have no understanding whatsoever of the causal world. Everything is coming from Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Time factor itself does not exist in spiritual domain. All the modern science is based on calculation of time. But time itself as a factor does not exist in the spiritual world. Think it over. That's why it is so difficult. That's why it is called achintya. How can you imagine something which you cannot even imagine? How can you think of something? Achintya. So therefore, this modern science, modern philosophy is just nonsense speculation. It is up to a level of phenomenal understanding, it is good. But when they try to jump to causal understanding, then they are complete nonsense. So yes, it is a valid science, but very restricted. Shudra science. Yeah, text 10. Evam krisham sthulam anur brahadiyat
Evam krisham sthulam
asatcha sad jivam ajivam anyat.
anyat.
Dravya swabhashaya kala karma namna jayavehi kritam dvitiyam. Someone like to read?
May I read too?
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Janma Pranam. Sasha Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Since this universe has no real ultimate existence, the things within it, shortness, differences, grossness, skinness, smallness, bigness, result, cause, living, symptoms, and materials are all immediate. They are all post-mode made of the same substance, earth, but they are named differently. The differences are characterized by the substance, nature, predispositions, time, and activity. You should know that all these are simply mechanical manifestations created by the material nature. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. The temporary manifestations and the varieties within this material world are simply creation of material nature under various circumstances. Prakasha Kriyamani Gunani Karmani Sarvya. The action of these reactions carried out by the material nature are sometimes accepted as our scientific inventions. Therefore, we want to take credit for them and define the existence of the God. This is described in Bhagavad Gita 3.2.27. Ahankar Vibhimatma Karta Aham Imanti. Due to being covered with a limited external energy, the living entity tries to take credit for the differential creation within the material world. Actually, all these are being created automatically by the material force set in motion by the energy of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Therefore, the ultimate cause of Supreme is the Supreme Person, as stated in Bhamsagita, Ishvara Param Krishna, Satchidanand Vigraha, Anadiradi Govinda, Sarvakaran Karna. He is the cause of all causes, the ultimate cause. In this regard, Sri Madhavacharya says, Evam Sarvam Tatha Prakritivam Kalipitam Vijnur Anyanyo Evam Pratyehe Adhataha Sevam Anya Vidudro Vishnur Evataha Sarv Sabdahas Chay Tasmani Eve. Actually, the original cause is Lord Vishnu. But out of ignorance, people think that matter is the cause of everything. Rajo Goptareo Bhume Saranaham Ichiti Lokika Vyavaro Na Tat Satyam Teoro Brahmayo Yo Vihu. Things are contemplated on the emphatical or external platform. But actually, this is not the truth. The actual protector and shelter of the everyone is Brahman, the supreme, not the king. Gopi Chay Tasse Prakriti Tasse Vishnu Sevya Prabhavo Tave Gopatir Tu Patve Natam Gopita Kistiti Samta Ataha Sarva Sasti Asasi Seva Gopita Jay Harar Ishvara. Sarva Sabad Videshya Sabda Vitirjay Karmani Sarvanam Sarvanataha Sarva Bahir Eka Eve Janardana. The actual protectress is the material nature. But Vishnu is the Lord. He is the Lord of everything. Lord Janardana is the director, but extremely and internally, he is the cause of the functions of the world and what is expressed in all around. Sarye Sodha Date Vidyavada Griva Yashe Tadve Evstu Astare Atvam Cheg Gopartvam Anye Yashen Upad Ahataha. Lord Vishnu is the resting place of entire creation. Brahmano hi pratishtitam. Bhagavad Gita 14.27. Brahman, everything is resting. All the universes are resting on the Brahmbhuti, and all the planets are resting on the universal cosmos. In each and every planet, there are occasions, hills, oceans, hills, states, and kingdoms. And each planet is giving shelter to so many living entities. They are all standing on the earth of feet and legs, torso, and shoulders. But actually, everything is resting ultimately on the potential of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is known ultimately as Sarkaran Karanam, the cause of all causes. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So this universe has no real ultimate existence. The things within it, shortness, differences, grossness, skinniness, smallness, bigness, result, cause, living symptoms and materials are all imagined. They are all pots made of the same substance, earth, but they are named differently. So sometimes, you go to theater to watch a movie or you see a movie on the television. There would be soldiers, there would be men, women, there would be so many manifestations. Or especially if you see these new Hollywood movies, Avengers and all this, all that you see is just an illusion, just created by some computers. In reality, nothing is existing. There are no planes flying, there are no helicopters flying, no guns firing, no one is flying in the sky. But it is just an illusion which is created. For 2.5 hours, you are entertained, and then that's about it. So material manifestation is also like that. In reality, nothing exists here. There are no demigods, no demons, no humans, no Brahma even. All these are just like temporary manifestations. On the screen, something is existing. Here also, something is just existing for a while. And then everything returns to their constituent elements. Mind, intellect, the activities, the matter, everything merges back into the Supreme. That is Kaivalya. That's complete merging of the position of the living entities and their substances. Now, considering this, now one may ask this question: why are we discussing this knowledge? Like last 3 verses we have seen, text number 8, 9, and 10. We have been discussing this feeling, which is this ideas, which are seemingly like what we could call almost like Mayavad knowledge. You can call it like Sankhya philosophy. So why are we discussing this? The context of this conversation is that Jad Bharat is trying to explain to Rahugana how insignificant everything is, how insignificant they both are, how insignificant is their consideration of their situations, how insignificant are the situations themselves, and how insignificant is any of the thought that they are entertaining. So he's trying to get his mind off this illusion of being the king. Because if you remember the first verse of this chapter, Rahugana has requested Maharaj Jad Bharat or Bharat Maharaj or Jad Bharat to clarify his doubts, to explain the subject matter in details. He said that there is no king, there is no servant. So now he's explaining that. He's explaining why. So if you read the proper context of Srimad Bhagavatam, it will become very clear to you. So he's just explaining now how these so-called manifestations of the universe are just various types of illusions which are manifested and then unmanifested. Actually, Krishna is explaining in the 10th chapter that the real science is to just know him. Athva bahunayatena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Yajad vibhutimat sattvam shrimad urjitam evava tattad eva gacchatavam mama tejomsh sambhavam. Know that all beautiful, glorious and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So if everything is emanating from Krishna, it is better to know Krishna. If all the qualities, good and bad, in this material world are manifesting from Krishna, then why should not one know it? We try to understand. Like Mahaprabhu says, Dvaite Bhadra Bhadragyana Sava Manodharma. whatever we are studying in this world, whatever we are seeing in this world, whatever we are trying to do is just all an illusion. Unless it is directly related to Krishna, it is all on the platform of Maya only. It has no existence. So many times we see devotees are also trying to get into the rat race. They're trying to make their position more and more secure, trying to earn more money, have bigger family, better family, playing even politics and all that. So that is still illusion. The point here is that Krishna is explaining that that if one actually contemplates Maya, one will remain trapped in it. One will not be able to get out of it. Actually, that's the trick of that Maya plays with us. Whatever pollution we have in our consciousness, Maya will manifest it. For example, if you are lusty, Maya will create a number of beautiful ladies in front of you. If you are, if you are kutil, if you are political minded, Maya will create situations where you can become very powerful. But actually, Maya is not trying to trouble us. Maya is trying to teach us a lesson. As soon as we try to enjoy her facilities, we suffer. And that becomes our lesson. So when we have suffered long enough, then we become purified of that desire. That's why karma has adverse reactions, because by that continuous cycle of action and reaction, eventually we become frustrated and we give it up. Like you see, we talk about businesses going down. Why does that happen? At some point, customers become frustrated that this businessman doesn't know what to do. His products are bad. He's not doing nicely. And in that consciousness, eventually they become frustrated and leave the business. So, and then the business goes down. So if you also neglect Maya, eventually Maya will also go down. So that's why this philosophy is important to understand, so that we can convince ourselves from various dimensions that this is just Maya. Otherwise, even as devotees, if we just keep on enjoying our senses, eventually we will never develop Krishna consciousness. Kabhutana pave Krishna pade premadhan. Because every time given an opportunity, we are embracing Maya. So why should we look at Krishna? We'll never develop attachment for Krishna, first of all. That's very simple. We'll never develop attachment for Krishna, because we are not contemplating about him. We are contemplating about Maya all the time. But that's why here again and again the sages are explaining that this is just an illusion. Don't embrace it. Now you may be there inside it, but try to come out of it. The more you try to embrace it, the more you are going to suffer. So you contemplate on Krishna. How do you contemplate Krishna? By studying the philosophy first. So here also you see Maharaj Raghugad, Maharaj Bharat is not directly talking about Krishna. He's first talking about this phenomenal world. So, and now he's also going to explain eventually how he came to be in such a miserable position. Of course, for him there is no misery, because he's completely self-realized, yet he's trying to bring Maharaj Raghugana to his own platform. And that's the objective of a guru, to bring the disciple to his own platform. The guru is never there to exert his dominion over the followers. Guru is not there simply because he wants to be an authority. Guru is there, he's like a teacher. A high school teacher knows that he will continue to teach high school. His students may become presidents or prime ministers or engineers or doctors. They will become much more qualified than him. But he does his job, because his job is to bring the student to his own level so that he can exceed it. So that's the Guru Shishya Parampara, to bring the disciple to one's own level. But to bring to that level, one has to go through all the steps of knowledge and purification. Without that, there is no question. So for example, if we discuss the beauty of Krishna right now, it will register nothing in your hearts, because you are still attracted to Maya. So at first, you must be convinced that this Maya is thoroughly obnoxious. It is futile. It is worthless. Then, when you think like this, you still will have a tendency to enjoy. So you will look for an alternative, and that alternative would be Krishna. But until such desire comes, hearing about Krishna is not going to help much, because you are attracted very much to Maya. That's why you see all the sages, they are talking about brahmacharya, they are talking about the material illusion, but they are not directly talking about the glories of Krishna. Because if one directly tries to understand glories of Krishna without purification, one will become a Sahajya. Hare Krishna. Text 11. Jnanam vishuddham param. Yes.
सॉरी प्रभु, मुझे एक क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ.
So, जैसे अभी आपने बताया, इसको प्रैक्टिकली कैसे अप्लाई करें? अब फॉर एग्जांपल हम कहते हैं कि वी आर इन दिस वर्ल्ड, ऑफ कोर्स ये टेम्परेरी है. व्हेन वी आर फेस्ड विद सिचुएशन, चाहे अच्छी हो या बुरी, फर्स्ट आई थिंक प्रैक्टिकली अगर देखा जाए, वी नीड टू बी थॉरली कन्विंस्ड दैट बिहाइंड एवरीथिंग इज कृष्णा. सो वेदर द सिचुएशन जिस तरह की भी है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हाउ वी परसीव इट, we need to stop
Right.
complaining and take it as it is.
Hmm.
And then the question comes, I think ये question more or likely ये केशव प्रभु जी के लेक्चर में भी है. मुझे आंसर समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि we get, okay, पहला तो पॉइंट समझ में आता है, we need to stop complaining and take the situation as it is, or stop being extra happy and take the situation as it is. Whatever is coming from him is his mercy. Then how do we act in that mercy, in that situation, चाहे अच्छी है या बुरी है? How do we make sure that we act according to what Krishna wants us to act?
See, you should read books. Then you'll find all the answers. See, that's why I say, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they are not there simply to show off one's knowledge. They're not there as a hobby. See, they are here, they are practical knowledge. We have to apply them in our lives. See, what is Krishna telling Arjun, first of all? Okay, first of all, Arjun is complaining. So, your first question, you said, how should we learn to tolerate the miseries of this world? So, Arjun is also complaining. What is Krishna saying? Klaibyam masma gamah partha naetat tvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya dorbalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa. Oh, son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. Calling him an important man. You're getting it? Hija. That's what he's calling it. Don't become like that. See, this world itself is a battle. This world, this life that we live is itself like a war. Many are going to die. In fact, everyone is going to die. Just like Mahabharata. How many people are you going to cry for? Better start crying now, because everyone is going to die. Now, suppose someone comes and tells you, at the age of 59, you will suffer from cancer and die. What will be your condition?
Horrified.
But if I tell you, hey, you will die at the age of 81. That's normal. That's perfectly all right.
True.
You see, this is the nonsense of our consciousness. It's the same thing. At the age of 81, you are not going to feel, okay, now enough, okay, I'll die now. I mean, people do think like that because they are so miserable anyway. So, you see, it's the same thing. You don't have infinite time.
Yes.
And yet, you will not put any effort to know Krishna. Boys will study for 4 years, 5 years. Oh, I have to clear NDA, I have to clear AIMS, I have to clear IIT, I have to work hard. But the same boy will never think, oh, I have to work hard because death is also approaching. I mean, if you don't get into IIT, don't get into AIM or IIMS or anything, the world doesn't end. But people think like that. I mean, just yesterday I was reading one boy committed suicide because he couldn't clear the medical entrance. And then his father committed suicide the next day. See, such a nonsense thing. He could have become doctor from any college. What's the big deal? Life wouldn't have ended, but he ended his life. And yet the same man, same boy never thought, what is the purpose of human life itself? This is the illusion. Therefore, we must study Bhagavad Gita. We must study the scriptures and try to understand what they are saying, and we have to apply it in our life. So Krishna is not just mocking Arjun. So Krishna is then explaining to Arjun also. See, Arjun is a bona fide disciple and Krishna is a bona fide spiritual master. So what is Arjuna? How do we know Arjuna is a bona fide disciple? Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyad yat chokam uchchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhumao asaptanam ruddham rajam shuranam api cha adhipatyam. I find no means of driving away this grief. He's saying that.
Hmm.
He's not saying, no, I'll manage, I'm okay. No,
Hmm.
he's saying, I have no means.
Hmm.
So, and before that, he says, Karpanya doshopahat swabhava prachami tam dharma sammudha cheta. Now I am completely overtaken by this miserly weakness. I don't know what has to be done. So please explain to me. I am asking you to tell me clearly what is the best for me. And then you see, he's doing what Krishna is saying. That's the sign of a bona fide disciple also. The spiritual master understands the consciousness of disciple and he guides him accordingly. But if the disciple thinks he is too intelligent and he can figure out a way, then he will be truly lost in Maya.
Hmm.
You know, in the last 27 years in ISKCON, I have seen so many criticizing their own spiritual masters, and they go away, then they become nonsense. Then they are thoroughly lost. And by the time they realize they are lost, they are totally lost. Then they have no capacity of coming back into the movement. So then Krishna is advising, see that, he's explaining to Arjun, see here, Matra Sparshastu Konteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Pahino Nityas Tam Tikshasva Bharata. Learn to tolerate. First thing, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada. So tolerate everything. Tolerate happiness, tolerate distress. Distress we are forced to tolerate. When my father is gone, he's gone. I mean, I can't cry and beat my head. Nothing's going to happen. So I learn to tolerate. Okay, it's all right. But what happens when I get happiness? You give me a 52-inch television set with a Netflix connection. What do? I start watching it every day and night. See, I'm tolerating unhappiness, but I'm not tolerating this happiness. So especially this is applicable to devotees. You must learn to tolerate happiness. Krishna has given you, don't use it. Tam stitikshasva bharata. And why? It's not that we are sages. We are not like some kind of, tapasvis. We're not here for austerity. But the same time that we are enjoying this material world, we should use it to inquire about Krishna, to know Brahman, to render service to devotees. See, one of my godbrothers, actually very senior godbrother, not very senior, he was maybe 2 years senior to me, but he told me something really interesting. I mean, of course, unfortunately, he himself is not too serious anymore in Bhakti, but he told me something which I have kept as I've for last 20 years, I've carried in my heart that instruction. He said, don't do this kind of, half Bhakti. Either you do it full or you just leave it. Don't do this lukewarm Bhakti. Because eventually it is not bhakti, because you will fall down. You are already fallen. Better go and enjoy the material world and suffer the consequences. Then you will come back convinced. But if you do this kind of half bhakti, you will think that you are advancing, but actually you are doing nothing. You are actually getting deeper and deeper into illusion. So half-cooked bhakti, okay, I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I will surrender, but not too much. So this kind of bhakti is not going to work. To the limits one should press oneself. To the very limit of austerity. Like one of my godbrothers, Shyamvallabh Prabhu, used to tell me that, you should be so austere that it hurts. Your devotional service should hurt you a little bit. It should pinch you. You should push yourself to the limits. आग में जल के ही तो सोना निखरता है ना?
जी.
So one of my godbrothers, he's a jeweler. If you burn gold, then all the impurities are burnt out. Gold doesn't get oxidized so easily. But when it is heated to very high temperatures, the impurities, they get oxidized and they come out.
Thank you.
So, tam stitikshasva bharata. Learn to tolerate. In fact, this is the very first instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Before this, Krishna is explaining about the nature of soul. So Krishna starts speaking from the 11th verse, like Bhagavad Gita starts from 11th verse, but it is in the 14th verse, actually the instructions start.
ठीक है जी. Yeah, बाकी सारी चीजें थोड़ी-थोड़ी बीच में ऐड होती जाएंगी. That's the base. थोड़ा तप, you need to control your senses. There are so many other instructions that he is adding to it.
So practically speaking, now
Hmm.
if you ask me a practical question, how should we do it?
Mhm.
How should we do it? So, you have to practice. In the 6th chapter, Krishna also explains to Arjun that he has to practice. So what is the meaning of practice? That you will try, you will fail, but you will try again.
Mhm.
But each time the attempt should be better and better. Make mistakes, make many mistakes. It's completely fine, but don't repeat the mistakes.
ये better and better ही तो समझ में नहीं, यही तो crack नहीं हो रहा. Try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, but the situation, like your try is getting better or not, how do you measure that? Is the
So
hard
give me an
thing.
example. Give me some example of your failure, then we'll discuss that. Let's take a case study.
Maybe I'll do it after the class. I'll do it after though. But there
Okay.
are examples where, situations come, you try, you are going to hold off, you try again and again, and you still fail. Like the hold off might be a little bit better, thoda, but pata nahi. I don't know.
See, I'll give you one simple example.
Mhm.
Okay, for most people, like for most Indians at least, I would say the biggest failure is family, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, I'm not blaming you or anything. I've been through the same problem myself.
Mhm.
I feel the same way myself. So
Mhm.
today, if you think I'm some kind of a scholar, then I've had my more than fair share of failures. So you see, so we become overly affectionate to family,
Mhm.
and for them we sacrifice devotional service.
Mhm.
And we think, oh no, what can I do? Who will take care of my mother? Who will take care of my father? Who will protect my son, my daughter, my this and my that? Or sometimes, even when that is not the case, we still become attached. We still remain attached.
Mhm.
My wife is not a devotee. What can I do, Prabhu? My husband is not a devotee. What should I do?
Mhm.
Well, what do you do? According to scriptures, just dump them, leave them. Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulasya varjanam.
Mhm.
Varjit, varjit is meaning what? Prohibited.
Mhm.
Varjit kshetra, prohibited area. It's not no, it's prohibited. Very strong no.
Mhm.
So we don't do that. Oh no, no, no. Why? Because I enjoy.
Mhm.
So you see, so that is the biggest failing that devotees have. Okay. So what is the workaround? Workaround is very simple. You don't have to leave your husband, your wife, your child, or whatever, your parent, but you become more and more firm in your bhakti. That is Krishna's test for you. Become more and more fixed in your own bhakti. And eventually Krishna will show you the path. Look at the best example is Pishima, Srila Prabhupada's sister. Pishima's husband was a woman hunter, drunkard, third-class rascal. But Prabhupada did not advise her to leave him. She said, you just continue your duties. And you see, eventually Srila Prabhupada himself came to rescue Pishima. Now, I don't know how true this story is, but I heard it from one of the very senior Matajis that she was taking care of Pishima in the last days, around, I think that was 1978 or 1979, around that time. Pishima also did not live too long after Prabhupada. So Pishima was bedridden and practically about to leave this body. So this Mataji was just sitting there. She was just fanning Pishima on the, the last moments. And then she saw like a vision of Prabhupada coming there. And then Pishima just got up and left. And she didn't know whether this was true or whether this was like a dream or something, because she was herself very tired. But when all the devotees came, they saw that Pishima had passed away. So you see. So if this is true, then this is fantastic, isn't it?
Mhm.
Pishima did not leave her husband, but Pishima did not neglect her duties.
Mhm.
Pishima was very dear to Prabhupada. Prabhupada and Pishima were the two children, the pure devotee children of Gaur Mohan, who was himself a pure devotee. So you see. So if you want to learn what is family life, study the life of Srila Prabhupada, study the life of Gaur Mohan. Gaur Mohan is actually a superb example. Devotees love their wives and husbands and children and whatever. So Gaur Mohan also lived like a family man. He never took sannyas.
Mhm.
But Prabhupada calls him a pure devotee. He says, if he's not a pure devotee, how could he imbibe pure devotion in me? My respect for Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came from Gaur Mohan. So you see, Prabhupada says, my
Hmm.
respect for my spiritual master came from my father. Therefore, he's a pure devotee. So you see, it's not that Gaur Monde was writing some commentaries or that he was traveling to some holy places and preaching. No,
Hmm.
but that should be the standard for a Grihastha. If the child continues to do nonsense, then what is the business of a father or a mother to stick around with the child? Just give him basic, give him basic training, but you focus on Krishna. Your objective is Krishna.
Hmm.
Look at the fallacy. Your child is 20, 30 years younger than you. He's going to live much longer than you. And you will maintain this attachment till your very end, and the child would still have another 30, 40 years to go after that. So you see,
Who are you
Yamraj will
ruining?
come,
Yeah.
but will.
No, I was saying, who are you ruining? Yeah, no, maintaining this, who are you ruining? Yourself and the child too.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So show the child basic, give him basic education, give him basic nurture, but you focus on bhakti because you don't have time.
Mm.
But how will that bhakti come? So you chant your rounds properly and read, study and study, and and contemplate, meditate. Devotee means sadhu, must be thinking all the time. Not that, okay, Prabhuji was speaking, I heard for 1 hour, okay, Hari Bol. That's it. No, that will not work. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very detailed answer.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna ji.
Stop here. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Enjoy.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Dhanva pranam, Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Thank you.
Pranam.